Welcome back, Strongman Personal Finance, everybody. I am Christopher Bell, certified public accountant, long-term boglehead investor, author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser, and hater of clowns on YouTube that promise you that you're going to get rich quick. And all you got to do is buy some stupid cryptocurrency or a bunch of meme stocks that are going to 100x. Because the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to work hard for a good couple of years, and you're going to have to save lots of money and put that money into tax-advantaged accounts. And the way you do that is by working multiple jobs. You have a primary job, and then you have side hustles that generate side income. Now, in my case, I have a couple side hustles. I'm in the United States Army Reserves, and I'm a YouTuber, even though I don't make jack from YouTube. I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet. And I'm also a tutor on a website called Wyzant. Now, Wyzant, I don't know where the name came from. I think the founders, his name was like Wise or something, Wise blah, blah, blah. And the other guy's name was Ant something, something, and they combined it together. But basically, Wyzant is just this pretty big tutoring platform where all you have to do is take a couple quizzes if you want to be a tutor, pass the quizzes, and then you're qualified to tutor on the website. Now, even though you may be qualified, you actually have to impress your clients. Otherwise, you're going to get a bad rating, and you're not going to go far on the website. Now, here we are on my profile on Wyzant. Because I am a certified public accountant, because I worked hard, I didn't buy 100,000x stocks, I actually learned a marketable skill. Now I'm able to use that skill to tutor people. So if you're lacking in skills, you need to get a freaking skill, okay? You can browse this website and see what skills are in demand. Because once you have a marketable skill, then you can tutor. Now, so far, I have tutored 273 hours on this website. And I've been on here since December 2020. The reason I signed up is because I wanted to make extra money to be able to invest more so I can retire faster. And I like having multiple streams of income. Now, I primarily tutor accounting and some business because that's my expertise. I wouldn't recommend tutoring something you don't understand. But here is my profile, and we're going to go through and I'm going to show you my tutoring statistics, roughly how much I make every month, how you can sign up for the website. It's pretty easy. And payments, all the stuff like that. So first off, like I said, here's my profile. 273 hours, and I have a delicious 5-star rating. Now, I didn't just get that. I didn't just achieve success for nothing. I actually work hard, and I prepared for my lessons. And I was able to get a 5-star rating. So here's the website. And if you go down, you basically have your bio, you have your education. I went to the University of Marion University College. You don't have to go to a prestigious college to get a freaking good paying job. I charge $60 an hour, and I'm pretty much available all the time. I mean, I have work hours, so I tutor after work. But I put my availability to basically the whole time. And then when people apply to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll meet you after work. So that's what I do there. And I tutor business, financial accounting, managerial accounting, tax accounting, business, tax accounting again, American history, and bodybuilding. I haven't tutored anybody on bodybuilding yet. But this is Wyzant. So when you tutor people, they're going to give you a rating. And I actually encourage you to tell people to give you a rating as long as you've had a good lesson. Because the more ratings you get, in my opinion, the more legitimate you look. So I have 154 5-star ratings. I have 3 4-star ratings. And I have 1 2-star rating. I know, I'm just a piece of trash. But that all averages out to 5 stars. Now, you set your own pay on this website. So I started at $50 an hour, and then I increased it to $55, and now I'm at $60. I may increase what I charge per hour even more, depending on how long I'm on the website, because you first want to build credibility before you start charging people out the butt. And if it's going to be worth my time, I want to have a good rate of return. Now, one thing you want to consider is if you're on Wyzant, you actually have to give 25% of your pay over to Wyzant. It's kind of like a broker commission. So in reality, I'm only making $45 an hour. That's something to keep in mind. And that's why tutoring rates on this website are a little bit elevated. But if you compare that to other websites, you make way more on this one, okay? Way more. The other ones I've looked at, they pay $10 an hour, $15 an hour. I'm not working for that low amount of money on my free time. I'm sorry, okay? So if you're considering tutoring and you have a skill, I would check out this website. It's hard to get started off pretty early, but eventually, once you start building your business and you apply to a bunch of jobs, Eventually, you'll take off. You just have to be persistent about it, okay? Now, let's go look at my tutoring statistics. So, in the past 8 months, I've earned almost $11,100 from 273 hours of tutoring. Now, keep in mind, that is gross pay. So when you receive that pay, you actually have to put money aside for quarterly taxes, and you have to pay those quarterly taxes to the government. Now, to calculate that, it's kind of a pain in the butt because you have to kind of estimate your expenses and yada, yada, yada. So right off the bat, you get $60 an hour, or at least for me, I get $60 an hour, and it goes in 5-minute increments. You don't have to do a full hour. $60 an hour. Wyzant takes 25%. That's $45 an hour. And then you have to take a chunk of that and send it to the government every 3 months, both the federal government and the state government. Now, you do get some write-offs. Like, I'm actually going to use the home office deduction. I'm going to write off, this room. This is my tutoring room. And I'm going to expense my computer, my microphone, and my camera, and my light, and all that stuff. So you can use some write-offs, but just because you get paid, or I got paid, let's say $11,100 over the last 7-8 months, doesn't mean you actually get to keep all that. Because Uncle Sam wants his delicious money. And you're going to be paying federal tax, state tax, and self-employment tax. So I'm currently sending the government about 35% of my gross earnings. And we'll see how much I actually get taxed because of my deductions, but I'm just playing it safe. So if you're going to tutor, keep in mind, you got to pay quarterly taxes. You can't just keep the money. And if you don't pay your taxes, you're a freaking fraud. Now, the business really depends on the month. So, for example, this month, we're in July. I only made $906 so far. I have a couple more sessions. But since we're in the summer, business really slows down. Now, last month, I made almost $1,500. Business was a little bit better in June. But there are certain months, like in, April, May, when you get closer to final exams, people are going to really request a lot of tutoring. So what I would do is I'd literally finish work, 4:30, 5:30, whatever time I got off. Then I would instantly jump into tutoring sessions. And I would go back to back to back to back. And one month I made like $3,400, before tax. So it's all about how hard you work. But it's obvious. This is actually a great side hustle. $11,000 isn't something to laugh at. It's not a fortune, but if you're just sitting at home and you can't save money and you only work 40 hours a week, this is something to consider because you can get paid very well, especially as you get more and more hours and more ratings. You can probably increase your rate and really start to collect that delicious cash. So that's how much I've earned. Now, when it comes to payments, you can select basically 2 options to get paid. You can request payments 4 days after you earn the money, or you can request it twice a month. So when I initially started, I requested that they pay out 4 days after each session. That's I think it's called like fast pay or instant pay or something like that. The reason I stopped doing that is because I kept getting these 20,000 deposits into my checking account from Wyzant. $50 here or $100 there, blah, 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 blah. And it got kind of a pain in the butt to really figure out how much I needed to withhold from taxes every month. So instead of getting paid every couple of days, I said, all right, pay me on the 1st, pay me on the 15th. So you only have to deal with 2 freaking paychecks a month. So that's what I started doing. So you can see, I guess I started in November. I guess I did 1 session in November. You could see I was getting paid over and over and over again, month or back to back to back. And then eventually you see these massive spikes, which is the getting paid every 2 weeks. So depending on what you like, maybe you want the cash faster. In my opinion, I like getting it every 2 weeks. So that's that. Now, how do you apply for jobs on Wyzant? Because you actually have to apply for jobs. Students may approach you on the website, but it's much better if you apply to them. Now, what I do is when you log on and you have a tutoring profile, you can actually go to this 178 online jobs available. So it's going to filter based on what your subjects are. So for example, this person right here wants tutoring for business. They have not received any applications yet. And it kind of describes what they need. So what you do is, let's say this one right here, Kairomi, someone available for online tutoring for my managerial finance class. You click on the application. I have a template where I just drop my accounting template. So I just typed out this thing. I never have to type it again. And then I go down to the bottom and I hit submit application. Now, they don't have to accept your application. They can be like, oh, you're too expensive, whatever. But if you just go down this list and you just apply, you're going to get answers from people. And then you can schedule a tutoring session. Now, I recommend if you actually get a tutoring session, you definitely want them to send the stuff in advance and you want to look it over, because sometimes you'd be surprised what kind of crap these professors can come up with for these students. Now, on top of that, you can't help people cheat on tests, okay? You actually have to help people study, but not actually do their work for them. So you want to be very careful, and you want to read the policies and make sure that you're not violating the rules. Because the last thing you want is to build a good business on this website, and then you get freaking kicked off because you did something stupid like help somebody with a final exam. So make sure you read the rules. But I think this is a fantastic website, and I think you can earn a lot of money doing this. Now, is this for everybody? No, it's not, because a lot of people don't have enough skills to really become a tutor. You actually have to have some kind of skill. Now, you can actually browse and look at like other tutors to see what they're charging. I wouldn't worry about that too much, because if you kind of know what your skill set is, you kind of know what to charge. Like, I studied accounting for like 4 years back to back, and I got my CPA license. I'm not accepting $15 an hour to tutor a college level subject or tutor for the CPA exam. I charge way more. But if your skill set, if you don't have like as much of a lucrative skill set, you may have to charge a lot less, which means you have to work a lot more hours. So some tutors, they work more hours and they charge less, and some tutors work less hours and they charge more. I like the second type better. But that's pretty much it. So this is a very lucrative side business you can do. You can actually expense your stuff, your home office. You have to meet all the qualifications, but you can expense your home office, your equipment, all that stuff. Be prepared to pay quarterly taxes, and be prepared to not get a lot of business in the beginning. Because if you look at my tutoring, my payments, I mean, look at this. I signed up in like October, November. I barely got crap for the first couple of months. I was like, oh my God, this sucks. And then all of a sudden, in freaking February, it exploded. It went nuts. So you just have to be patient, keep applying, make sure you do a good freaking job, and make sure your request the student actually gives you a rating if you've had a good session. And if you've had a really bad session, you might want to consider not charging a student, because you don't want them to give you a crappy rating. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you do side businesses. Make sure you actually generate extra income, because that helps you save for your retirement and allows you to retire early and gives you more financial security. Have a wonderful, delicious day.